Hello, my name is PJ. Today we are doing the Raw Editor Challenge, number 11, the results. Let's do it. I do need to say a very special thank you to James Kilian for supplying the photo for this week's challenge. I really appreciate it, mate. Something about this photo just spoke to me. I chose it from his website. Definitely check his stuff out on Instagram, or if you're like me, I like to look at someone's website. The photos just look better, and this shot, among with some others, this shot just jumped out at me. I really wanted to have a crack at this, so that's what we are doing. All right. Without further ado, this is the raw. This is what we started with. Let's go over here. First entry comes from Alex von Gosler. Alex is from Cape Town, South Africa. Let's have a look. Very sharp, lots of detail. I can definitely see Alex has changed the sky here. I actually thought about doing that as well when I saw this, but I thought that this would be quite a tricky shot because the background is quite blurred. So the guys are in sharp focus here, I believe. 7.1, okay. So f7.1, I suppose the distance between the subjects, the band here, and the satellite dish in the background is quite far. And for that reason, the photo's not sharp all the way through, which is not a criticism at all. But what I'm saying is if you're going to change the sky, it does help to have a background that is sharp. It helps to shoot on a wide angle lens. This one was a 50mm. So yeah, naturally the background's not going to be in sharp focus. Having said that, Alex, I think you did a really good job of blending the background here, because I know this is going to be a tricky selection even with the select sky tool, and I also think you did a good job of picking a suitable sort of like mundane grey dreary sky to shoot the vibe of this shoot. I think you did a really good job, and I like that you kept the detail. It looks like you might have done some extra sharpening of like the eyes and stuff. Perhaps some dodge and burn, something like that. There's something about it that's different that I can't quite put my finger on. But I thought that was a really cool, interesting, unique edit. Thank you so much, Alex. Next one was Christoph. By the way, I'm sorry in advance. I'm going to butcher a lot of names. I'm sorry. You have been warned. This one was cool. I really liked the 4:5 crop. I did a similar thing with my version. I'm pretty sure this is a 4:5. Obviously, that's pretty common now because it's what we view things on Instagram. It's what looks good on Instagram. I like that you kept this shot pretty warm. There's sort of like yellowy green tones in the background. It still has that sort of cloudy, sort of dreary feel, but you've definitely pumped some color back into the skin tones. Yeah, it's interesting. The first two have been sort of quite sharp. I think the tendency with these sort of film looks is to make them a little bit softer with grain and that sort of thing, make them feel a little bit more nostalgic. But I like that you've kept it quite sharp, and I like that you've kept the skin tones sort of true to life. I think skin tones should be warm, and I like that you've done that. Good job, Chris. Oh, sorry, Chris is from Pompano Beach in Florida. His Instagram handle is on the screen now. The next entry we have was from Izfakul Hemal at Izfakul. I'm not sure where Izfa is from. It didn't Izfakul. I'm sorry, mate. I'm really sorry for butchering your name. It didn't say in the email. It looked like somewhere in Southeast Asia, perhaps. This is really clean, actually. I'm not sure what sort of stuff you normally shoot, but I thought you had a really good crack at this. Again, you've sort of kept the mundane vibe. I think that's kind of hard to avoid with this image, if I'm being honest, but I like that you've kept the warmth in the skin, and everything looks nice and smooth, actually. Like, it's not like you've done any spot corrections on the faces, but everything is nice and smooth and flattering. And I remember having a look through your Instagram and seeing that this was your sort of style. You sort of would go quite soft on your skin tone, soft and warm. And yeah, it's that sort of orange and teal vibe. but not too heavy, which I think works really well. Good job, man. Next one was Jackson David from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. I like the place that you took this. It's not as bright as some of the other ones. It's again sort of that orange and teal vibe. It feels a little more cinematic, this one. The tones are a little bit more subdued, but it also feels a little bit more real. There's like no like unnecessary clarity or unnecessary sharpness on the faces. It feels a little bit more real. In fact, I would probably say if this was a little bit softer, if it maybe had a little bit more grain or a little bit less sharpening, it might feel like a proper film photo. But obviously it's not. It's digital and it's sharp, and that's the benefit of shooting on a digital camera basically. So yeah, really good job, Jackson. Yeah, you nailed it. I was very happy to include this one. Next one was Justina from Poland, I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look. So I like that you have you've desaturated the background, but you haven't made it blue. I feel like most of the other edits have had a cool background, whereas the background in this image, Justina, is like monochromatic, I guess you'd say, and that just keeps the focus where it needs to be, which is on the subject. Again, there's no crazy color grading on actually the guys here, but I actually quite like that because it makes it feel more real. And yeah, like I said, it just keeps the eye where it needs to be. So I thought you did a really good job. Thank you. Next one was from Rui in Portugal. I'm pretty sure it's Braga, isn't it? I'm sure Rui will correct me if I got it wrong. I actually didn't realize this guy's got another t-shirt, like another print on under the Adidas. I like where you've taken this one. It's again taking it to a warmer place. I always lean towards a warmer edit myself, so I can appreciate seeing that in other people's photos. Even though the tendency, I think naturally this photo would have a cooler sort of look. I don't think, I could be wrong, I don't think you've done a sky replacement. I think you might have just recovered what was there, but I could be wrong. And it looks like, no, I don't think you've done any dodging and burning. It might just be some clarity or something, but there's definitely some sort of extra detail on the faces. I'm not exactly sure what you've done there, Uhui. But yeah, I like that you took it to a warmer place, and as always, I really appreciate you being a part of the community, an active part of the community. Oh, this is just the same photo with a different crop. I couldn't choose between them either, so I just included both. In fact, I think I like for this one the 9:16 crop, or whatever this this larger one is, 3:2. I'm not sure. Very good, my friend. Thank you. Aiden Bedford. This one was a really late submission, but I included it because obviously I didn't film this as soon as the deadline happened, but secondly because I've already mentioned I really like the warmer look. That's what I would do with my photos. You've kind of somehow made this feel like a golden hour, or perhaps just after golden hour sort of shot. And I don't mean that there's like sunlight spilling in or anything, but that sort of time after the sun goes down where there's still, I think they call, after golden hour they call it blue hour maybe, but I'm talking just after the sun goes down, but there's still that sort of like warmth about in the shadows. That's what this feels like to me. And I can tell that you have separated the boys from the background and blurred the dish in the back. And I think that's really interesting. It's not a perfect selection. It's not a perfect mask, but it doesn't have to be, because to be honest, no one is ever really going to view it as close as I'm viewing it now. So on Instagram or for web, I think this is going to look really good, and I'm pretty sure no one else did that. So props to you, Aiden. Oh, sorry, Aiden was from Melbourne. Aiden B Photo on Instagram. Yeah, I thought this was really cool. This is one of my favorites, if not my favorite. And I don't think anyone else did that. So really well done, mate. Thank you. Next one was Ramy Masalam. Where's Ramy from? From Switzerland. Thank you, my friend. Again, this was something that no one else did. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like broken glass or if it's more like this is inside plastic, like it's what's the word? Shrink wrapped, like an album cover or something. But whatever the overlay is, I thought it was really unique and no one else did it. So very happy to include this shot. Again, gone for sort of more the film look. It's sort of washed out. I like again that you've kept some warmth in the skin tones. I think that's really important. And it's sort of that, I don't know what you call the look. I guess with film, there's so much more dynamic range. You never, depending on the film, but I feel like film often doesn't go to full black. The blacks are a little bit more faded. And I think that's the look you've gone for here, Ramy. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting and unique, and I really appreciate the submission. Thank you, my friend. Leon Warnking. Leon did a couple of really good entries. Again, I wouldn't usually include both, but I couldn't pick between the two, so I thought I'd just add them in as they're really different. This was also, oh sorry, Leon is from Vechta in Germany. I hope I said that right. This was one of my favorite edits as well, just because I think it all works. The colors all work really well. Like, I think the colors that you've used for the skin, they, appear in other parts of the image. You can sort of see those pinky orangey tones throughout the dish. It's like there's a really concrete, what's the word? Color scheme running through this. It's like grays, that pinky sort of orange tone. There's like blues, blacks, and beige, I guess. Yeah, it's like you've picked from a swatch, you've picked 5 or 6 colors and you've stuck with them throughout the image. Don't know if that was deliberate or if it's just a setting or a preset that you have, but it just feels so deliberate, I guess, is how it feels. And yeah, I really liked it. In fact, this might be my favorite one. I can't remember. Thank you, man. Leon's other one was to put it inside like a baggie, I guess. Like an album cover or a record cover, I guess. I think a record sleeve would usually have a little bit of extra sort of padding around the edges. Yeah, and I thought that was cool. If nothing else, I think that would make a great show poster. So perhaps worth, with James's permission, perhaps worth sending one of these to the band, because I thought it looked really cool. Thank you, mate. Alfonso. Alfonso is from, where was it? Oh, San Antonio, Texas. Thank you for being involved, my friend. I really appreciate it. All the way from San Antonio. I don't know if it's just a low resolution file. No, I don't think it is. I think this works because, like I mentioned in one of the earlier edits, instead of adding more detail, you kind of chose to go a little bit soft in this. And I think the softness really lends it to this style of photo because it does make it feel more like film. It does make it feel more nostalgic. Like I've mentioned already in a few of the others, I like that you kept the skin tones warm. I think it's really important. I think regardless of your skin color, there should be warmth in the skin tones because I think it just makes you look a bit more natural, a bit more healthy. I like what you've done there. And I also like that you have kept the sky blown out. Again, it just makes it gives it this more like nostalgic, like mundane, mediocre film, feel. And I don't mean it in that the photo or the edit is mediocre. I just mean like just the vibe, like the suburban, the young suburban, like exploration. I don't know. exactly what I'm trying to say. It just reminds me of yeah, being a kid and just exploring and my early days getting out taking photos of bands, which was some of the most fun I've ever had in photography. That's what this photo brings back to me. So thank you, mate. James Howie Butler from Melbourne, Australia. At Howie Butler on Instagram. Howie, you always kill it. You have really good taste. Again, I really appreciate that the place that you took this is unlike any of the others that I've seen so far. A little bit softer, a little bit grainier. Again, that really lends itself to this style of photo. And overall, I think I just lean towards the warmer images. It's contrasty, it's warm, and it just feels like Howie. Howie just sort of has his own stamp that he puts on photos. I think usually Howie's photos are a little bit like cleaner and brighter than this. This is sort of quite gritty for him, but it has that sort of underexposed, cheap print film look to it. I'm not sure if you used like a Visco preset or something like that, or just one of your own presets, but it certainly has that feel. I want to say, I could be wrong, but I want to say like a Fuji feel, like a Fuji film, like a Fuji 200 or 400, something like that. That's what it feels to me. Thank you, mate. Aiden Valentine from Perth, WA. Very apt because James is from Perth and these boys are from Perth. This one is a little bit on it's quite desaturated. Again, I'm guessing you're going for that sort of nostalgia, that sort of film look. The sort of danger with this style is it's easy for it to be, what's the best way to describe this? Unless you're editing on a calibrated monitor or in a controlled environment, it's easy for these to look a bit dim. I'm not sure if that was a deliberate artistic choice for you, or perhaps you were just editing on a bright MacBook screen or a bright phone screen or something, because if you notice, compared to some of the other shots, it does look less bright. And I think that might be because your computer screen is a little bit too bright, and that means you're editing it to how it looks good on your screen, which I would guess is a little bit brighter than how it looks on my screen because my screen is calibrated. We'll see how this turns up on YouTube. But yeah, not so much a criticism because this is probably your own artistic choice. But to me, it seems a little bit, it could be a little bit brighter, but I like the feel. I like that it's sort of monochromatic. It's like almost bordering on black and white. It's like you've taken the saturation way down to give it that feel. Again, that sort of mundane, mediocre, just everyday suburban feel. And I definitely get where you're going with this. And I just want to thank you so much for sending me the photo, man. I really appreciate it. Next one was Andy Brumm from Melbourne. Andy Brumm always does a good job. I feel like, Andy, you've got your own style dialed in. I feel like it is sort of a variation on that orange and teal thing, sort of like the split toning kind of look. But you've been doing this for years, and I like that you've put very much the Andy Brumm stamp on this. There's not much more that I can say about that. Check out Andy's work on Instagram. Andy was sort of coming up, I guess, when I was last doing the channel 3 or 4 years ago, and he's just developed into just such a good, he's just like a staple of the Melbourne music photography community. He never has anything negative to say, all around good guy, and great music photographer. Thank you, mate. Appreciate the edit. Okay, the last one is mine. No one did a black and white, so I thought I'd submit a black and white, which I don't often edit. I'm a little bit uncomfortable editing black and whites, but I do really enjoy it. I tried to make it a really bright, punchy black and white image. I like my black and whites to have a white point and a black point. I don't like them to be sort of dull and washed out, because if you don't have color, I feel like it should really, you should have a reason to be black and white. sometimes I feel like people have a tendency to go black and white to make something feel more meaningful, but sometimes it just seems gratuitous, if that's the right word. I'm pretty sure it is. So yeah, I like to really punch you in the face with my whites and make it feel sort of old school, punk rock, a bit gritty. So that's what I did, and we are back to the beginning here with the original. Thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far, this has been a long one, but I've really enjoyed it, and I've just had the best time just going through everyone's submissions. It's still crazy to me how you can take the same file and get, 15 different versions. It's so cool. Everyone's putting their own mark on it, and I'm just beyond thrilled to have this many people go to the effort of editing, uploading, and sending this to me from all around the world. So from the bottom of my bottom, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you'd like to see more challenges like this, leave me a big fat thumbs up down below. Join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/BigPantsLegends to be part of the discussion in future. And I'll see you in the next video.